Okay guys, here we are, pattern-collections.com. Pattern Focus is the next pattern. We're going to go to Barullo by Carlos Cano. And have we done this one before? No, nobody's done this one. Okay. And this time I remembered to look up the word, because Carlos's word always means something in Spanish, and I looked it up, and it means racket. The literal translation is racket, but it means more like chaotic noise, like there's a big racket outside the window when the truck goes by or something. So sort of a chaotic thing, which is kind of cool. There is what we're aiming for. Look at that. That's sort of a steampunk looking thing. Here it is in an assortment of stuff, but I think I'm going to go with the classic. It's sort of cadent-like. So it says it's based on cadent, and add as many rows of orbs as you would like. I'm going to use a larger piece of paper today so that I can get it nice and big. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a dot in the center. Dot in the center, and then coming outward we're going to do 2 going each direction on the 4 axis. And then 2 coming outward this way. So we're going to make a, what is that? An 8. A grid of 8 coming out circles. And then you do the cadent-like shape, that S shape, right? You just do the letter S. And then you do the letter S again, coming out to the next one. And add as many rows of the dots as you would like. Keep going until you get all the way to the end, and then do an outside row. So let's give that a go and see what happens. We're going to play with it. Why not? There's my paper. Going to turn on my light. I think for this one I want it pretty much centered. So I'm going to find the center of my paper by just kind of drawing a quick crisscross from one corner to the other. That will get me sort of in the center. And I'm going to just decide where I want my orbs. I want to make sure I don't go too close to the edge, so I'm going to give myself a border, which I probably will not actually draw in, but I don't like getting next to the edge, and that's my own personal preference. You can go right up to the edge if you want. So let's do one in the center, and then 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. Like that. Okay. And then I think I'm gonna make more rows. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 more. 1, 2, 3 more. 1, 2, 3 more. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's do like that. Nice and big. Why not? And then we're going to start here. We're going to go S shape toward the middle. S shape toward the middle. Okay? Then the next row goes, rather than going straight up, the next row goes around. So it's going to go from here to here. Okay, and then the next one should go, ooh, ooh, itchy, around. Let's go around again. Just keep going around, yeah? Or are we gonna go this way, but then that'll leave one open. So no, we don't want to do that. I'm just going to keep going around and see what happens. Why not? Something didn't come out right. I'm missing something. Somewhere along the way I did something wrong. They all have 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. That's correct. So, oh, I should be alright. Okay, I like that kind of ripply thing that happens there. And then right. That's different. It doesn't look quite the same as his. And I'm not too sure why. Maybe because my dots were pretty close together. They're close together this way, but they're kind of far apart this way. Well, maybe that's why it looks different. But that's okay. Different is fine. I think I want to embellish in an interesting manner though. First off, I think I want another dot here in between. I want to go this way. Like that. I want to just add something on the edges. So I think that's what I want to do. Something like that. Yeah, I like that. And then I think I want yeah. Okay. So all I'm doing is thickening up these lines on this side of my S shape. Just gives it a little bit of dimension, I think. See how that goes. Let's see what I can talk about. Tell it like it is. Let's take a lighthearted card and see what it says. Describe a good neighbor. I've been fortunate in where I live that I've had lots of good neighbors. A good neighbor is considerate of others. Doesn't have super loud parties unless we're invited. haha. No, we've got some good neighbors. The only thing that drives me crazy is the one neighbor next door has these dogs that just bark all the time. They're getting better. They used to bark non-stop. The older they're getting, the less they're barking non-stop, which is lovely. But it used to be, as soon as they left the house and put the dogs out, they would start barking and they wouldn't stop ever. They were really, really bad. But that's really the only complaint I have. We had some neighbors that were really loud and the one would constantly violent against the wife, and I didn't know them personally. I had not met them, but there were times when the neighbors have had to call the police on the guy, and the guy ended up in jail more than once because, you know, he threatened police officers, and yeah, it was ugly. But luckily, they no longer live there, and a really nice family has moved in, and yeah, everything is all hunky-dory again. A good neighbor is one who's considerate of of everybody's peace and quiet in the neighborhood. I think that's number one. A good neighbor is one who looks out for another neighbor. You know, we're able to go to our neighbor and say, hey, we're going on vacation. Can you keep an eye on the house? Here's some emergency information in case something does happen to the house. Here's, you know, information, name and phone number of friends or family that have keys to our house in case something really happens and you need to, you know, we have a fire or flood or, you know, you never know. There's always something that could happen, right? Just trying to decide how I want to do this outer part. I'm good with that, I think. Okay. How's that? I think that's good. That makes it interesting, dynamic. I think I'm going to erase my little guide marks because I don't need them. And then I'm going to give it a little bit of shading. Probably pop the white pencil in here because, oops, uh-oh, don't want to curl up my edge. Since I did it on the tea stained or the coffee stained paper, I have a mid-tone already, so I can put some darks and some lights. I'm trying to decide how I want to do that. I think I'm going to put, let me see what this looks like. I may not like it. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay. So just put a little bit of pencil in there. Coming down in this space. nice big soft shading. See, I didn't go up against any particular line, so it's just giving sort of a rippled look, like this is sort of folded fabric. That's kind of cool. Decide what I'm doing on those outer bits. Does it look like it's got a fold out here? Kind of, but it's different out here. I think it looks like that. Something like that. Something like that. Oh yeah, that's cool. Okay, I'm cool with that. Moving a little bit of pencil around where I feel like it needs a little bit more. I think it needs to be a little bit darker in the middle, just in general, because it all kind of comes to the middle there, like that. Yeah, yeah. And then my white. That. Ah, that's lovely. That white just does something to these tiles that I'm not even sure why I'm calling these tiles. They're not really tiles because I didn't cut them tile sized. But anyway, it does something to the artwork when you have the mid-tone, and then you can add the whiter whites and the darker darks, and then you can have 3 values instead of 2. The black and white is lovely, but it really is only 2 values. It's black and white. And you can add that 3rd value. It's so pretty. Okay, I am super happy with how that turned out. I just love me some organic tangles. Those are just my favorite to do, and so yeah, look how pretty that is. I hate to feel like I'm just like tooting my own horn, but sometimes you really do have to appreciate your own art. If you don't like your art, then, you know, how do you feel good about what you've drawn? Just sit back and appreciate it. Even if you don't think at the time that it's any good, or that you've had a struggle. There are sometimes I have struggles with my art. I really do. Let me find one here that I really struggled with, and it was not my favorite thing to do. Let me see. Kind of dig through here and see if I find one that I really remember having a struggle with, where I didn't care much for it as I was drawing. This one. I didn't care much for this one while I was drawing it. I thought, oh my goodness, what have I done? I started with with a colored pen instead of black and white, and I got this weird colors in here, and as I was drawing it, I really didn't like it. But when I got to the end and I added the little bit of white, the little bit of shadows, this little bit of shading in here, all of a sudden it came together and I went, wow, that's pretty cool. I like it now. So, you know, just because you've struggled with something doesn't mean that it's bad. That's the thing. So anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know that it's okay to struggle. It's okay to not feel confident in what you've done, but at the same time, it's also okay that when you find a piece of work that you really are happy with, to appreciate. Take some time to appreciate your work. Because if you can look at it and say, wow, that's really better than I expected, then the next time you can feel more confident in drawing the next one and the next one, if each time they seem to get better and better and better. And if you go back a step and one of them doesn't come out so good, you actually feel more confident that it's okay. They don't all have to be masterpieces, but that it's a learning experience, it's a process, and you know that you can do better next time. That's the thing, is you really have to keep working at it, and don't think that doing it once and doing it not to your expectations once makes you a bad artist. I see so many who are down on themselves because they try something once and it doesn't go as they thought it would go, and so they give up. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to practice, to draw every day, to, you know, if you want to become a good cook, you have to cook every day. You can't just say, I'm now going to be an award-winning chef. You have to start out by figuring out, you know, how to cut up a carrot. You can't go from A to Z without going through B, C, D, E, F, G, H. You have to go through all those steps. And for some reason, art is one of those things where people think that they can go from A to Z without going through the steps in the middle. And I don't understand that. I really just don't understand that. And at the same time, people don't appreciate when they, an artist has created something that you find really beautiful. You go into a gallery, you go to a craft fair, and then they're asking a pretty good rate for it. You know, they're asking $100, they're asking $200, they're asking $500, they're asking $1,000 for their piece of artwork. And you think to yourself, well, I could do that. Well, yeah, maybe you could, and maybe you couldn't, but will you? Have you? The answer most of the time is no, you haven't. You know, just like going to a fancy restaurant. Do you say to yourself, well, I could have cooked that. I could have cooked a steak at home. I could have cooked, you know, this chicken at home. And it would have been cheaper. Yeah, it would have been. But did you? No, you went out to a restaurant and you spent the money for somebody who cooks chicken every day, or for somebody who cooks steak every day, to make you a good steak or some good chicken. Same thing for art. You know, pay for what, you're not just paying for the piece of paper or the canvas or the you know, the materials, the sculpture. You're not paying for just that. You're paying for that person's experience from point A to point, maybe they're not at Z. Maybe they're at F or G or H. Maybe they're not at Z yet. But they've gone through A, B, C, D, E, F. They've gone through all those steps, and you're paying for that. Don't forget that the person who is out there putting their art on the market has worth, and that they've really honed their craft. And I would say absolutely 100% sure, if you think a piece of art is at level B, don't pay price for level Z. Pay price for level B. 100%, absolutely. But if somebody is at level Z, don't insult them by saying, I only want to pay for level B. Seriously, just don't do it. That's my rant for today. Sorry, I went on a soapbox because I've been watching some YouTube videos of people who have some amazing art and, you know, have had some struggles with selling art. So that's my 2 cents. I don't personally own a whole lot of art from other people. It's not because I don't appreciate their art. It's because I know what the value is and I can't afford it. And I'm not going to insult them by saying, geez, I really wish I could afford some of your art. I know you're selling it for $100, but would you take 40? I'm not going to do that. I'd rather wait until I have $100 than I can afford their work. That's just me. I don't know, maybe I'm completely wrong, but you know, so I support the artists that I know, like my YouTube friends, in the ways that I can. I don't have enough money to support them on Patreon, but I might have money to purchase their stencil or go to their Etsy shop and buy, you know, their art journal, or I might have enough money to use their Amazon link, and I'm going to buy something from Amazon anyway, so I'll use the link through their YouTube video so that they can get, you know, a few pennies off of what I was going to buy anyways at Amazon. In those ways, I can support my local artist and have them, you know, I can watch their YouTube video and watch their commercial, the ad that comes at the beginning of their video all the way through to the end. Doesn't cost me anything except for a little bit of time, but it gives that YouTuber extra money. I can do that. So, you know, I have little ways that I can support the artists that I really appreciate. But could I afford to buy their art? Most of the time not. And it's sad for me because I would love to just buy art and have my house just filled with other people's art. My house has some other people's art, but it's not filled with other people's art. But if I find a piece that I feel is stunning and worth the value, absolutely I'll buy it. My husband and I did that many years ago. We went to Alaska, and we brought home this beautiful, beautiful piece of glass art. And I was so looking forward to going back to that shop and investing more money in that artist. And unfortunately, they weren't there anymore. When we went back 10 years later, they weren't there anymore. And it made me sad because I was really looking forward to getting another piece of art from this particular artist. But I know that that's what happens. And I'm hoping that what happened with this artist is that they had better opportunity elsewhere. Perhaps they moved down to the lower 48. Perhaps they, you know, they moved to a bigger city in Alaska. Maybe they moved to Anchorage where they have more exposure. I don't know. All I know is that I was really sad that that artist's work wasn't there anymore, and I was looking forward to going back. But it was worth it. It was absolutely worth it, and I enjoy it every single day. Most of the rest of the art in my house is made by myself or other people that I know personally, not just, you know, artists that I would go buy. But I just still love to browse art fairs and galleries, and it just gives me some joy. It really does. So anyways, I was on a rant, and I am sorry that took so long. If you got to the end of my drawing and you just turned it off and you didn't hear the rest of it, that's fine. It's okay. You guys have a great day. Go out and support an artist today in some way, shape, or form. If nothing else, go onto an artist's website or Facebook page and just tell them, that was awesome. I would love to own that if I could. Give them a heads up, a shout out. Share their work with others. You might not be able to afford that piece of art, but maybe somebody in your life can afford it and will appreciate it. So share it. You know, share it on your Facebook. Share it on your Twitter. See what happens. Promote those who you really feel passionate about. I have a few of my favorite YouTubers, and I shout them out. Anyways, you guys have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Sorry about the rant.